I'm Jonasz Rewiński and you're watching TVP World Talks, where every word matters. Now, back in 2022, when the war in Ukraine started, many people were shocked to see images of Russian war crimes. In particular, the tragedy in Bucha has been what galvanized many people, many politicians, into action. Right now, however, a feature film, the first feature film produced in Ukraine since the beginning of the war, is about to be released, telling of a human story against the background of these tragic events. And we're going to talk about this with the creators of the film in question. Oleksandr Shchur, screenwriter and producer for the film Bucha, and Stanislav Tiunov, director of the very same film. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Hello, thank you for inviting us. It's a big honor for us.
Hello.
So when I saw the trailer, I was actually intrigued. This seems to be not only a powerful story, but also one that has a human dimension to it. But let's start with a very simple question. This is the first film that was produced in Ukraine after the war started. How does the process of filming in a country at war actually look like?
You know, it's always hard to make movies in Ukraine, but during the war, it's really hard because you have no electricity. You always has missiles attack. It's hard to find cameras, techniques, but we have a really good team, and all of us understand that it's really important. That's why we just forgot about all troubles and start shooting it.
And was the film made in actual locations in Bucha itself?
It was made in different locations. Bucha is also in Kiev region, but the only one important thing, we try not to shoot near people who was in occupation, to not traumatize them again. We try to find the same places in the territory of Ukraine which wasn't occupied.
So this is a very important thing I actually want to talk about the trauma, about this being filmed very early on, but also this has the advantage of being a feature film, but also in a way a documentary, because these destroyed buildings, this is not CGI. This was not constructed for the film. These are actual sites of destruction brought on by the Russian aggressors, right?
Yeah, we use a lot of drone shots. We shoot it, I think it was first week after after the occupation of Bucha, and we shoot it as fast as possible because we understand that it will have such a documentary shots. That's why we include it into the movie. We have CGI in our movie, for example, helicopters and other things, but all that you saw in trailer, I mean destroyed building, they are real.
So this is not like a film about, say, World War II, and simply recreate distant events. This is something very real, something that happened very recently. Now, the story itself, because this is really interesting, it is about a real hero, but he's not a man fighting on the front lines. He's not from the military. Can you tell us more about this particular aspect of the film?
Yes, we took this story because for us it was a very interesting story which could resonate with every person in the world, because this man, he's not Ukrainian citizen, he's citizen of Kazakhstan, he's a Lithuanian Jew, and when the war started he can go to his country or to another country, but he decided to stay and save Ukrainians, and for our opinion it's a very good message, because when Ukrainians save Ukrainians it's understandable, but when people who can leave this country, who is not citizen of Ukraine, continue to save people, it's a good message that nobody can stand aside when such bad things are happened.
So he's essentially staying in Ukraine despite the onset of hostilities, despite the fact that the Russians are attacking civilians, or actually because of that, because he sees that he has a role to play, right? So what did he do after staying?
Now he's continue his volunteer. He taking a lot of refugees for Ukrainian. A real Konstantin will be in premiere with us tomorrow. He just continue his work that he done during the occupation when he escaped people from Bucha. Now he just make his global help to Ukraine. I mean, with refugee cargo, with other stuff for military people, that he just continued to do such good things.
So that is now, but in the actual film, like the film tells the story of him evacuating civilians under fire, evacuating the ordinary people.
Yes, and very important thing, he evacuated from occupied territory. And this was idea of main Ukrainian intelligence directorate officers. They understood that people with Ukrainian passport are in a higher risk. He has a passport of Kazakhstan, and the Russians think that Kazakhstan for them is friendly country, and therefore he has this opportunity to go to occupied territory. He always says, oh, I go to take my family, and take like his family, a lot of other families.
But still, I mean, from what you can see in the trailer, I mean, as you're saying, he got support from the intelligence, but he's not driving a tank, he's not driving an armored vehicle. There is this single white car moving against the traffic of people escaping, and I thought this was a really powerful scene there. You can see he's actually going to the center of danger to help people. And he doesn't have any weapons, he doesn't have any military people escorting him. He's just on his own, isn't he?
Yeah, he was always in danger, because having Kazakhstan passport is just 50 on 50. I mean,
and as Kostya said, before car drive and stop, nobody on the Russian checkpoint don't know that he's Kazakhstan citizen, then can begin to shoot at him before he go out of the car.
So it's a tremendous story of an ordinary person capable of heroism, right? Because we know from reality, and now moving to what actually happened later on, we saw Russians shooting at civilian vehicles. They were not even asking about their identity. There is a lot of footage of Russians simply killing the occupants of ordinary passenger cars just driving by, right? Yep. So,
yes,
so it's the reality of the war.
You don't see this in trailer, but we have in our movie very important for us one scene. Everybody in the world remember the red nail with heart in dust. This woman who were killed by vehicle. Everybody knows this hand. And we found daughter of this woman, Olga, and she told us the last conversation between her and her mother. And we show this conversation in the movie because everybody in the world only knows this hand, and we wanted to show that this is not only hand. This is a woman who wants to live, and shows that because when a lot of deaths, it became statistic. We want to show that every death is tragedy.
Bringing back the human story. So the final question is, how wide is the distribution going to be? I'm asking because in the West, there's still many people who don't really realize what the reality of the war was. Perhaps they're not really watching the news that often. But if there is a human story presented to them in the form of a feature film, perhaps they might actually want to think about what their own politicians are doing. Are we helping Ukraine enough? And so on. So what are the plans for the distribution?
You want to answer?
No, we have an international sales agent, Canoe Films. They are situated in Vancouver, in Canada. And we have Ukrainian premiere November 7 in all cinemas. And we are now in negotiation with a lot of different distribution company. And our main countries where we want to show our movies is the USA and the European country.
So I certainly hope this is the case, because this, after all, is still a situation whereby the war is still going on, and many people would benefit from knowing what really happened there. And if they may actually watch a human story in the process, mixing entertainment with actually getting acquainted with the truth, well, that's all the better, I believe. Oleksandr Shchur and Stanislav Tiunov were our guests today here on TVP World. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm Jonasz Rewiński. You're watching TVP World. Please do stay with us.